Howdy, howdy. So today we're going to be talking about squids, which are arguably the coolest species on our list. So the common name for squids is, of course, just squid. Their scientific name is a little hard to describe because there's a lot of types of squids. They all belong to this order called the Teuthidae, and within that there are multiple families and genuses they fall under. We have two examples here. The first one is more popular and is known as the giant squid, although its scientific name is Architeuthis. It's 40 feet long and basically a sea monster. This other species, on the other hand, the Loligo vulgaris, or European common squid, is not as fascinating. This is more like the one we dissected in class. It's about 20 inches in size, so definitely a long way from its relative over here. Like I said, there's many types of squid, and they all range in size. And in fact, according to National Geographic, we have over 300 species of squid today. So, squid habitats. Where are all these species found? Well, squid exist in literally every ocean out there. You can see on this map here that squid live in all the yellow parts, so it just excludes stuff like the Mediterranean Sea, the Great Lakes, and some smaller landlocked bodies of water. Different species are obviously going to be found in different kinds of water. Giant squid prefer deep, cold water. The Humboldt and Caribbean reef squids prefer warmer, tropical waters. The common squid just prefers normal temperate waters, and they have adaptations suited for this. For example, those two species prefer warmer waters because it speeds up their metabolism. They're fast growing and fast reproducing. Squid live at all ocean depths as well, and they exhibit some interesting migration patterns. A lot of species do what we call vertical migration, which means throughout the night they might hang around the deep parts to avoid predators, but during the day they'll swim up to the surface in search of prey. They also migrate to other areas for specific breeding grounds. So, how does squid get their food? Squids are carnivores, which means that their diet consists solely of other sea animals. When they're young, they tend to eat plankton, but as they grow, squid will eat small fish, krill and crabs, and shrimp. They'll also eat other squid that are smaller and weaker, even if they're the same species. Squid are pretty low in the food chain, though, so they have plenty of predators. Obviously, squid themselves are one of the predators, like I said. A major one is the sperm whale. Sharks and large fish will also eat squid, and penguins eat a lot of them. Humans as well commercially fish for squid and use them in foods like calamari. So, squids have a lot of interesting evolutionary traits. First, we have chromatophores, which are basically pigment sacs in their skin that can contract, effectively changing the squid's skin color so that it may camouflage with the environment. Squids can even use the color changes to signal to other squids about mating or dangers or nearby predators. Squids are also capable of jet propulsion by forcing water through their funnel, as shown in the diagram, allowing them to move quickly in water. They are also famous for their ink sacs, which are useful as a distraction for fending off predators. Their tentacles also have suckers on them, as you can see in this picture, which makes it easy for squids to grab food and push it into their relatively small mouths. Alright, so where do squids fit on the tree of life? Well, they're part of the molluscophylum, which was derived after the Annelida. These are all part of the proposed Trochozoa subclade, which is a major part of the Lophotrochozoan clade. They are all protostomes, and protostomes are all part of the Bilateria clade because they exhibit bilateral symmetry. These are part of the Eumetazoa clade, which describes true animals, and the overarching Metazoan clade, which includes all animals. So here you can just see a few gifs of squids. These two are chilling, but you can see on the top right using its jet propulsion to take off with some speed. So, significance for the ecosystem and humans. Squids are, of course, vital to the ocean ecosystem and to us. They are the primary food source for albacore tuna, which is the species that makes up the majority of the canned tuna we eat. Likewise, squid are a huge food source for coho salmon, which we also eat plenty of. Squids indirectly support seals, sea lions, and orcas because the salmon that prey upon them become a food source for these larger organisms. Because of squids' vertical migration, they also move biomass, nutrients, and nitrogen from the surface to the depths of the ocean. Squids are also a delicacy for humans, and the most well known squid dish is calamari. So, these are my sources. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.